The following is a quick summarization of what spirits are and can be considered to be for the average person in a layman's terminology. When you're programming, or when you're using even Photoshop, I mean, you can be programming in Adobe Flash, in any software, Dreamweaver, all these, softwares have the same idea ingrained in them, that there's a back end and a front end. And on the screen, on the front end, what you see, which would be analogous to seeing each other in, everyday walking life, saying hello in the morning, etc. This would be analogous to the front end when you're creating your picture in Photoshop, for instance. Pardon me. And the back end, it's either, coding that you can't see that created the actual software you're using, or you can just even consider it the drop-down menus, because, in there you can't see that functionality. Now, all of that you can press new tab, or, you can press to change the texture, and it will change the front end. What you see, suddenly you've got a different texture on your photo in Photoshop. Now, you use the drop-down menu to do that, to, look up where's texture, change it, bang, you press the button, which is like pressing your will force, I guess, and you'll want to create something and manifest something, That's like pressing that button and looking for the, the drop-down menu is like when you're meditating and thinking. But what I'm saying about the spirits, everything has spirits. Even the tent I'm in has a spirit you can basically communicate with in the astral. Everything. Even inanimate objects, I realized. There has to be an awareness, an in and out of some sort, in and out. But everything has that. Even a rock. Maybe not the tent, because it's not fractal. So I'd have to say it'd have to be fractal things that have a spirit. Everything fractal that is connected. Nothing that's like my tent, actually, that's made. That's man-made. That's all dead stuff. Sorry, I made the wrong distinction there. Because that holds with what I always say about synthetics, and especially how man's only just discovering synthetics and all that. Anyway, so the point is, everything that's fractal and what we call alive and connected, tethered to the one, so to speak, and isn't just a surface thing here on the second dimensional surface, on the 2D surface, the flat surface. That's like the photo in Photoshop. Then when you change the texture, the functionality in the background, the code of that, the little code package, that's the spirit incarnating on behalf of the idea, the souled idea that pulls from soul. And that's got to do with time. We're getting very deep there, but this video is discussing, before that depth, spirits. And spirits incarnate on behalf of soul. And, it's like a code package in Photoshop that runs the functionality. So when your higher self runs into your lower self body and your light body is being instilled, like for instance now many people are waking up, well, this is the fifth dimensional light body being instilled after they accept a feeling emotional body of fourth dimensional nature. Then the fifth dimensional light body can be felt to be enhancing day by day and week by week now at the end of history by many, many people, millions of people. And all you have to do is look on the internet, search, and you'll see what I mean. There's a lot of quote-unquote light workers and waking up people, So in other words, the spirits of things, and not like the tent, sorry, only fractal things. Everything, like a rock even, is fractal because it's connected. It'll have a spirit, and you can connect with that spirit because you have spirit if you are a spirited human. And the idea is the organic portals, they are not in their own spirit. Their fifth dimensional light body has not run into them yet either. I say it's like their starlight hasn't reached them. Now, that's what I'm analogizing spirits to. The back-end code packages of, like, when you're in Photoshop or something and you change the texture, you go meditate, you're looking for the tab, where does it say texture? Okay, I found it. And you press it, that's like your will force, and you start thinking about that idea, and then you emotionally, push it in. Bang, it turns up on the screen, the texture is changed, your mood's changed or something, in reality. And then your Photoshop pictures change the mood or the template of the picture. And so that's like how spirits work, So I just thought of that as an analogy to help you understand the dimensional construct and how spirits incarnate, sort of. This is obviously not the mechanical process of how... this is obviously not the, how we say, the embedding... Well, it is. How do I say this? This is obviously not what I'm explaining. This is like the raw mechanics. This is not each little functionality I'm explaining of exactly how... Does it go through the microtubules, our spirits, and then how does it integrate into the human neuron and the brain? We're not explaining that today. I'm explaining like a very broader overview, of generally how it works. But then obviously you would just have to think of it in reality, the pathways of how spirit incarnates and manifests in your body. And the more you tune into this, the more you'll begin to feel it. And I do recommend playing with technology because it's a simulacrum. And you're going to realize that the more I played with information technology, software and coding, and the more I realized how it's similar, like a simulacrum, to reality and to my life. It's like in Adobe Photoshop, I can get a little man, I can draw a little man on the screen, and I can even code him, inspirit him to walk across the screen.